In the world of cars, a flop isn't just a failure. It's a big mistake that stands out for being really strange. It's the kind of car that makes you think, did they really make that? Chevrolet, one of the oldest and most prominent automakers, sells over 4 million vehicles annually in more than 100 countries. As General Motors Supplier's top-selling brand, Chevy has seen highs and lows, producing bestsellers and facing tough times, including General Motors Supplier bankruptcy. Since 2019, Chevy's U.S. sales have declined, though the brand remains popular. The reasons are unclear, but we can look at Chevy's past flops, fascinating failures born from bad planning, poor timing, and odd designs. These cars weren't necessarily awful to drive or look at, but they left a lasting impression of wrongness. These are some of the most notable Chevy flops that serve as reminders that not every innovation hits the mark. From odd designs to marketing blunders, these Chevy models just didn't make the cut. Have you ever heard of the Chevy SS? No, not the Chevy Camaros S, just the Chevy SS. If you have seen or driven one, you probably never saw an ad for it. That's because Chevy never advertised it, according to the truth about cars. I dare you to tell me in the comments if you've ever spotted an ad. So, why didn't Chevy market the Chevy SS? It's because the Chevy SS was actually an Australian car called the Holden Commodore VF, which was brought to the US as soon as it hit American dealers. The General Motors plant in Australia that made the car was about to shut down. It didn't make sense for General Motors to promote a car they could only make about 2,000 of each year. Even the General Motors product chief told Jalopnik that selling the Chevy SS was tough. It's too bad the Chevy SS never took off. It's a rear-wheel drive sedan with a 6.2-liter V8 engine that produces up to 415 horsepower, a dream car for many enthusiasts. One wonders what could have happened if General Motors had made more of them and advertised it widely. Just let me know what you think down below. But you shouldn't wonder about the Chevy SS for me. The car was adorable and just cool. But what if you hear the word hybrid? You will think of a beast, right? The word hybrid used to sound like a threat to the American way of life. The Chevrolet Tahoe hybrid was supposed to be a middle ground, but it ended up falling short. To Chevy's credit, the Tahoe hybrid kept all its usual features: four-wheel drive, seating for 8, towing up to 8,200 pounds, and a 6.0-liter V8. They used lighter materials to offset the added weight of the hybrid system, but it still ended up 350 pounds heavier than the regular model. The Tahoe hybrid improved fuel economy to 19 miles per gallon in the city, up from the regular 5.3 liters, 12 miles per gallon. But it wasn't enough. Chevy could have offered a diesel engine like they do now. Our diesel Mercedes GL 320 at the time, similar in size, got 22 miles per gallon and towed more. The $53,295 Tahoe hybrid was ended after 6 years because Americans weren't interested, even with high gas prices. The Tahoe hybrid marked one of General Motors Supplier's biggest failures. Unveiled for the 2007 model year, it seemed like the perfect fuel-efficient SUV. In reality, it was a flop. Despite better fuel economy than the regular Tahoe, it couldn't compete with cheaper hybrids. Its $50,000 plus price tag was hard to justify, and it was discontinued in 2013 because it was too expensive and faced tough competition from more efficient and affordable hybrids. With all this negative information about the Tahoe hybrid, I'm curious, does anyone out there still own one? Do you think we might be focusing on the wrong years? Maybe Chevy had already started to decline by the 2000s. But hold on, because I have this for you. Back in 1968, General Motors announced plans for a subcompact car that promised affordability and efficiency, a potential game-changer set to rival the Ford Pinto and Volkswagen Beetle. True to their word, General Motors rolled out the Chevrolet Vega in 1970 with a modest price tag of $2,090. Initially, it received a warm welcome from the public and critics alike. However, Vega's early promise quickly unraveled due to multiple recalls and persistent quality issues. Starting in April 1971, General Motors had to recall 130,000 Vega cars because engines were at risk of exploding due to backfires. A month later, another issue surfaced with an engine component that could jam the throttle linkage. The troubles peaked in July 1972 when 500,000 vehicles were recalled over a defect that could cause the rear axle to snap off. Even after these issues were addressed, the Vega was plagued by rust, high oil consumption, and overheating that could lead to engine failure. By 1977, General Motors discontinued the Vega, which by then had become notorious for its poor quality. It even earned a reputation as one of the worst cars ever made, with salvage yards reluctant to deal with it despite its initial acclaim as Motor Trend's 1971 Car of the Year. Vega's story is a classic example of how cutting corners in production can backfire, leaving a stain on the brand's reputation. This might sound like a joke to some of you, but I think there are still people who hold on to these cars even today but leave alone that. Don't you think a car with a cute name should also be a cute car? I'm not talking about an Audi here. Think of the word SSR. It sounds like the name of a sports car, right? Maybe some of you still like this car, but you might be right. Could it actually be better than the Toyota Echo? The Chevy SSR, or Super Sport Roadster, was a bold but ultimately failed attempt by General Motors to blend the appeal of a pickup truck, muscle car, and convertible into one unique vehicle. Launched with enthusiasm as a concept car, it initially earned positive reactions for its distinctive style. However, when it moved to production between 2003 and 2006, it didn't live up to the hype, resulting in underwhelming sales and early discontinuation. The SSR was criticized for not excelling in any particular area. It was too slow to thrill sports car enthusiasts, too impractical and expensive for typical truck buyers, and too quirky and bulky for those looking for a stylish convertible. With a hefty price tag starting at around $42,000 and performance that didn't justify the cost, the SSR struggled to find its niche. Its 0 to 60 miles per hour time hovered around a sluggish 7.7 seconds, despite packing a V8 engine in later models. In the end, only about 24,000 units were sold, far less than anticipated, marking the SSR as one of Chevy's notable missteps in vehicle design and market judgment. In my opinion, this list covers Chevy's top 5 flops of all time. But maybe you think we missed one. Maybe you're about to talk of Chevy Citation, right? It's hard to believe that this unappealing compact was designed to replace the much-loved Chevy Nova. However, the Chevy Citation, launched in 1980, lacked the charisma and driving pleasure of its predecessor and only lasted until 1985. The Citation's top engine option, AV6, produced a mere 135 horsepower, and it featured a front-wheel drive system that was supposed to be the performance highlight. Yet, it fell short of expectations. During the 1980s, General Motors introduced the X-Car platform, which included models like the Oldsmobile Omega, Pontiac Phoenix, Buick Skylark, and the Chevrolet Citation. These cars gained notoriety for mechanical issues, particularly with the rear brakes locking up unexpectedly. Despite numerous complaints, GM recalls were limited, often leaving drivers with potentially hazardous situations. Further investigations by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration revealed that the initial fixes were inadequate, as the cars continued to experience brake lockups, leading to dangerous spins and several severe accidents. This issue led to multiple lawsuits against GM, marking the Citation as one of Chevy's most notorious missteps. Tell us in the comments section, do you think Chevy Nova was better than the Chevy Citation? If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome car content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. See you next time.